Exercises. Question 1. Mark the following as true or false. 1. Cigarette smoke is bad for health of not only the smoker but also others. The answer is true. 2. Almost all urban areas show low levels of air pollution. The answer is false. Almost all urban areas show high levels of air pollution. 3. Pollens, bacteria, fungal spores are also pollutants. The answer is true. 4. Ecosystem can get severely disturbed due to natural disasters. The answer is true. 5. Global warming is the desirable aspect of the intensified greenhouse effect. The answer is false. Global warming is the most undesirable aspect of the intensified greenhouse effect. Question 2. Answer the following. 1. What adverse effect does ozone depletion have? Answer. 1. When the ozone layer is depleted, the ultraviolet radiations of the sun can reach the Earth's surface in greater proportion. 2. This results in damage to animal and plant life on the Earth. 3. Ultraviolet rays cause skin cancer and cataract in human beings. 4. The ozone hole is seen in the stratosphere above Antarctica. Two. What are the different laws to prevent pollution? The answer is: the different laws to prevent pollution are as follows. Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, 1974. Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act, 1981. Environment Protection Act, 1986. There are different laws and rules which have been made for the disposal of hazardous waste, biomedical waste, solid waste, and prevention of noise pollution. Three. Who implements the laws related to pollution? Answer: the Central Pollution Control Board, or CPCB, and Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, that is MPCB, check whether the organizations like factories, industrial estates, municipalities, Zilla Parishads, Panchayat Samitis, and Gram Panchayats follow all the laws related to control of pollution. Four, describe the main sources of water pollution. The answer is main sources of water pollution. 1. There are two main sources of water pollution, viz. Natural and man-made sources. They can be further categorized into various types. 2. Minerals from land that are washed off due to heavy rains, dead animals, animal wastes, ashes, chemicals after forest fires, sulfur compounds after an earthquake, etc. are natural sources of water pollution. 3. City sewage and industrial wastes are the main man-made sources of water pollution. These pollutants can be broadly classified into domestic sewage, industrial waste, radioactive waste, agricultural runoff, oil spills, and thermal pollutants. Five. How do biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste cause land pollution? The answer is 1. Biodegradable material is mainly present in the domestic waste. 2. It is in the form of food waste, peels of fruits, vegetables, etc. 3. Paper is also a main part of the domestic waste which is biodegradable. 4. Polythene bags, plastic waste, and footwear, etc. are non-biodegradable waste from the domestic sources. All of these pollute the land. Six. Name two causes of global warming. The answer is 1. Gaseous pollutants like carbon dioxide, methane form the envelope of these greenhouse gases which prevent the heat from escaping out, that is, greenhouse effect. 2. Excessive burning of fossil fuels along with deforestation and pollution. Seven. Name diseases caused due to water pollution. The answer is diseases caused due to water pollution. 1. Diarrhea. 2. Dysentery. 3. Cholera. 4. Jaundice. And 5. Typhoid. Eight. How do you protect soil from being polluted? The answer is 1. We should not throw domestic waste and industrial waste indiscriminately on the land so that it contaminates soil. 2. Proper disposal of solid wastes and, more importantly, safe disposal of biomedical waste material should be practiced. 3. Instead of throwing non-biodegradable materials on the land, they should be properly recycled and reused. 4. Biodegradable materials should be composted and converted into useful manure rather than throwing them to cause pollution of the soil. And 5. Excessive use of fertilizers and pesticides should be avoided so that the soil does not get contaminated. Nine. Give the definition of a pollutant. The answer is the products which affect the normal functioning of ecosystem and have an adverse effect on plants, animals and humans are called pollutants. Ten. Define water pollution. The answer is when toxic and unwanted substances enter, dissolve, or remain suspended in the water bodies, deteriorating the quality of water and affecting the aquatic ecosystem, then it is known as water pollution. Eleven. What is radioactive pollution? The answer is due to human activity, when high-energy radioactive particles mix with air, water and soil and pollute it, then it is called radioactive pollution. 12. Name some monuments affected by acid rain. The answer is 1. Taj Mahal in India. 2. Long mangrove trees and Leshan giant Buddha on Mount Imi in China. 3. Acropolis of Athens in Greece. And 4. Dampier Rock Complex in Australia. Thirteen. What major harm is done to the human beings by air pollution? The answer is 1. Air pollution can cause major effects on human health. 2. The effects can be divided into short-term effects and long-term effects. 3. Short-term effects on human health are as follows. First, irritation of the eyes, nose, mouth and throat. Second, infections of the respiratory tract, for example, bronchitis and pneumonia. Third, headache, nausea and allergy. Fourth, asthmatic attacks. And fifth, reduced lung functioning. The long-term effects on human health are as follows. First, chronic pulmonary disease. Second, cardiovascular disease. Third, lung cancer. And fourth, premature death. 14. Give the impact of noise pollution on the human body. The answer is, depending on the intensity, frequency, and duration of exposure to the noise, the impact of noise pollution has been studied well. The effects of noise on the human body are of the following nature. 1. Auditory effects. This effect results in auditory fatigue and deafness. 2. Non-auditory effects. Communication interference, sleep interference, concentration interference, annoyance, ill temper, violent behavior, mental disorientation, bickering, and loss of working efficiency. 3. Physiological effects. Nausea, fatigue, anxiety, visual disturbances, insomnia, hypertension, and cardiovascular diseases. Question 3. Suggest measures in following situations. 1. To avoid noise pollution in classroom. Answer. 1. When teacher is not present in the classroom, all the students should observe silence and not shout loudly in the classroom. 2. Some activities like storytelling, solo singing, book reading should be carried out so that rest of the students can maintain silence. 3. The monitors and prefects in the class should control the classroom and should ask the teacher to punish the students who make a lot of noise. Two. Bursting firecrackers in festivals and processions. Answer. Bursting firecrackers should be strictly avoided because they produce noise and air pollution. If necessary, noiseless crackers or eco-friendly variety of crackers can be used. Firecrackers should not be burst near hospitals and other silence zones. After 10 p.m., ban should be imposed on bursting of crackers. Three. The use of fossil fuels in villages. Answer. Instead of excessive use of fossil fuels, gobar gas plants could be installed in villages where animal dung is available in plenty. Solar cookers can also be made available for village kitchens so that harnessing solar energy for cooking purposes can be achieved. Four. To avoid pollution of land when you go on a picnic. Answer. We should not litter garbage here and there at the picnic spot. Plastic bags and bottles, paper plates, cans, etc. should not be thrown indiscriminately. Collect all the garbage and dispose it off in dustbins, or if dustbins are not available, carry it home and then dispose it. 5. The level of air pollution is very high in your locality. Answer. We should plant trees in our locality. The sources of air pollution should be curtailed. For example, if there is burning of garbage or similar activity, then it should be avoided. Six. To avoid noise pollution in silent zones. Answer. Honking of horns should be banned. No one should be allowed to burst noisy crackers. Loudspeakers should never be used. Seven. To minimize electricity consumption at home. Answer. 1. Switch off the fans, bulbs and tube lights whenever not in use. 2. Avoid using air conditioners. 3. Use of electric lamps and gadgets should be minimum. 4. Use of CFL lamps should be encouraged. 5. Keep the windows open and allow the sunlight to enter the house for reduction in use of electricity during daytime. Question 4. Write difference between 1. Degradable and non-degradable pollutants. Answer. 1. Degradable pollutants can degrade on their own after some time, while non-degradable pollutants cannot degrade on their own. 2. Degradable pollutants are usually acted upon by microorganisms to reduce them to inorganic substances, while non-degradable pollutants are not acted upon by microorganisms and hence are not reduced to inorganic substances. 3. Degradable pollutants are not accumulated in nature, whereas non-degradable pollutants accumulate in nature and remain there for a long period of time. 4. Degradable pollutants emit foul odor when they are being decomposed, whereas non-degradable pollutants may not emit foul odor as they are not decomposed. And 5. Vegetables and fruits, food refuse, organic matter, etc. form degradable pollutants, while metals, plastic, glass, etc. form non-degradable pollutants. Two. Primary and secondary pollutants. Answer. 1. Primary pollutants are emitted directly from the source, while secondary pollutants are not emitted directly but are formed due to chemical reactions. 2. Primary pollutants are found in the atmosphere in the form in which they are emitted, while secondary pollutants are formed in the atmosphere by chemical reactions between primary pollutants and the atmospheric constituents. And 3. Ash, smoke, dust, radioactive compounds, oxides of sulfur, carbon and nitrogen are primary pollutants, while sulfur trioxide, ozone, hydrogen cyanide, peroxyacetyl nitrate, ketones, etc. are secondary pollutants. Question 5. Write short notes on 1. Acid rain. Answer. The rainwater that is mixed on the oxides of sulfur and nitrogen forming acids is called acid rain. Burning of fossil fuels cause nitrogen and sulfur oxides to release into air as pollutants. These oxides eventually form nitrous, nitric, sulfurous and sulfuric acids when mixed in rainwater. When this acidic rainwater falls on the ground, it is called acid rain. Acid rain causes harm to animals, plants and aquatic life. It also corrodes monuments, buildings, bridges, etc. Two. Eutrophication. Answer. 1. Eutrophication means natural enrichment. When inorganic plant nutrients such as nitrate, phosphate, etc. enter the water bodies, they cause eutrophication. 2. These nutrients and chemicals are discharged either naturally or through human activities. 3. Discharge of domestic sewage, industrial effluents and fertilizers from agricultural fields, etc. promote excessive growth of phytoplankton and algae. This is called algal bloom. 4. Due to death and decomposition of algae, there is depletion of oxygen in water. 5. Algal bloom further blocks penetration of oxygen, light and heat into the water body. 6. This causes death of aquatic animals, causing more decomposition and more eutrophication in turn. Three. Oil spills. Answer. 1. Oil means crude oil which is accidentally spilled in the water bodies. 2. This accidental release of oil can be from a tanker, offshore drilling rig, or by underwater pipelines and wells. 3. Oil spills are very hazardous for the marine life and marine environment. 4. Sometimes there are collisions in the oceans that result in oil spills. 5. On 7th August in the year 2010, cargo ship MSC Chitra collided with MV Kaligia 3rd in the seas outside the Mumbai harbour. This accident spilled about 800 tons of crude oil.